That was so unbelievably insane, but that's like such a good fucking athletic movement. What's up, everyone? My name is Travis Fitta, and I'm a hitting coordinator here at Driveline Baseball. Today we have a swing design with Jacob Young, center fielder for the Washington Nationals and one of the best defenders in the league. JY came to us this offseason with elite athletic ability, and yet he was way below league average bat speed and exit velocity, as well as his barrel percentage being in the 4th percentile league-wide and his launch angle sweet spot being in the 3rd percentile. Most coaches would look at his profile and tell him he needs to fix a few key things: bat speed, attack angle, and while that's partly true, it's not the full story. By the end of this video, you'll learn what's actually stopping Jacob Young from becoming one of the best center fielders in Major League Baseball, and whether or not we can fix it in just one session. So we'll go pretty easy for the first one. We're gonna do that offset rotation drill again, but we're gonna do it with the short bat. One of the first drills that we did with Jacob was offset rotation with a short bat, and we do those in 3 different positions. So offset rotation is a combination of 3 drills: offset open, neutral, and offset closed. What they really act like is technical no-stride drills, really working and emphasizing on how to load, how to posture, and how to rotate back and stay behind a baseball. So what did we learn yesterday about short bat specifically?
The posture behind it is really important. Super important,
right? And it's like your idea of getting behind the ball, what does that feel like to you? Because I imagine the first time I said it too, you're like, oh, yeah, get this way, and then try to fall back behind it.
Yeah, it's really just like not collapsing like this way.
Yeah.
It's like staying like over home with it.
Yeah, it's almost exactly how you explained it, right? Like I've landed that foot plant and I have a tiny bit of that posture over the plate, so when somebody's ever told you like chest over plate, this is really what they've meant. Now the idea of like rotation and turning behind it is taking forward bend and transitioning it to side bend, and if you could stay in place and your spine never moved, that's your ideal posture here. So let's go 3 to 4 open, 3 to 4 neutral, 3 to 4 closed. Oh! What's the difference between the last 2 swings? I don't know is an acceptable answer. Okay. So when you've gotten into the offset open, and I've told you that's your pitcher, your thought process is still trying to like keep your direction that way, so you almost sweep across the ball, ball tails away from you. What if I told you it's like, sure, have your lower half rotate that way because you need to clear it, but then it's like, I want you to swing your torso to the like right field foul pole, which is now center field. That's what you did on the last one, is you let this pelvis rotate away, but then your torso stayed here, the same way you would feel like driving a ball to the opposite field, instead of that sweep across, and then you get that. Now here's your neutral. This is where you still have the center field here, but I want to give you that option again of that gap or gap, so you can figure out how to release. Oh, that's very close, very close. Yeah. Do me a favor, I grabbed you the towel. Keep that feel thought you had yesterday with the heel, but then let it just rip off the ground. Doesn't matter about you holding it, and I think this is where we get the biggest bang for your buck now. As we start to prove this to your brain that we can turn and not spin, you're gonna get more and more comfortable about not trying to hold that heel back, because here's what happens. The longer you hold that back foot in the ground, you gotta think about how your pelvis actually wants to rotate. It's like, is that actually rotating, or are you getting the torso to start trying to move past it because you want to leave this there, right? So the idea now is like, as long as you can stay heel until the exact moment you get to foot plant, it doesn't really fucking matter after this. If you all of a sudden push it a little bit, fine. For right now, we're trying to prevent you from like getting this first before the barrel's ever moved, right? If you can do that, we're just gonna allow this thing to start building little by little. Yeah, exactly, right? I'm gonna swing this thing so fast with my belly button that it's just gonna rip the fucking heel off the ground like you're ripping the Velcro off the ground. Yeah, stay at neutral, let that back foot release. Close, close, close. Yeah, give me one more there. Yeah. All right, the closed one here. I don't want you to over-manufacture, overthink this one, JY. Be an athlete, let it move. Think about pulling a ball in the air, knocking this foul line down. So this center line that's holding up the cage, that's your foul line. Yeah. That's gas. Like hell here, I want you to imagine that this path is just gonna stay on this rail right towards me. So you know that you're gonna turn it out at some point. But can you win the race to 6 inches past contact and then let it go finish naturally? So the idea now is you're not in a race from A to B, you're in a race from A to B, and follow through is just like a pitcher, right? My leg, I'm not thinking about driving that over, it just happens. Let your finish be a finish here, stay through me 6 inches. 2 really good ones. Yeah. Really good process. Who cares about the result? Process. Dude, that's little. That's little by little too there. All right, we're gonna stay with the short bat here. Now we're gonna go to Hookums.
Yeah.
So now that same thought you had yesterday that we told you, right, is like up against that thing. Take a seat and then think about what it would be like for you to like create the space the same way that we said when we looked at big leaguers on front videos, where it looks like everything is starting to move away here, but that torso stays. Because what you'll notice about it is it puts you in a little bit of a forward postured position anyway. And then I'm gonna watch you just literally as you go, replace it with the side bend and be really fast and explosive through here. The Hookum is a really good loading drill. It's gonna put you into a really good position with the coil as you start. But now the key is, how do you hold on to that coil? How do you hold on to that hinge throughout? So it's really testing your ability to maintain space and unload through the stride phase of your swing. So with a short bat, it's gotta, and I'm gonna go breaking ball here. Okay. So the point is, if you mess the timing up and you start slamming forward, I want you to shut it off. Okay. Don't swing. Eventually though, I'm gonna force you to be like, hey, you start when you start, you have to now try to buy time as you get here, because even if you slam forward this way, most of the time you've probably just been trying to push over to go. But how many times have you seen Chris Bryant like overload his front leg and he still, boom, turns behind it and good. So over time we'll do that, but for now, shut it off. Okay. Really think about what it would be like to see this shape the entire way and feel like you could steal it out of the catcher's glove and still go to the gap. Uh-oh. Hey man, you're not supposed to figure it out on the first swing. Oh. Yes. So here's what I would say. Now that I've kind of given you the inclination that like 6 inches past the ball and not just simply get to ball and then exit left, you could probably push this point of contact another 3 to 4 inches out in front and really drive something to the gap here. Okay. I let you miss the center field because it's still a good ball, but I want to see what it's like for you to literally knock it through a hula hoop, sitting over the shortstop's head, drive it through the gap. Yeah, so like imagine that there is just a fucking hula hoop sitting like a foot or two above a shortstop's head. So it's gonna come out at about 15 degrees. I see you. I see you. We'll shout out a little bit of like Trey Hannum here this morning. I saw a good one. How do you go forward without going forward? How do you create a forward move without moving forward? Remember that same feel we talked about, like stretching around yourself, right? That ensures that a forward move technically happens, but it's not a huge shift of the center of mass. Because your deep feeling right here isn't because you're late. Your deep feeling is because you've moved forward so much that your old timing mechanism now drives you back here instead of having the same space you had 3 swings ago where you could get back out in front. Right idea, right idea. You just got out of the zone really quick. We're gonna extreme shift this feel right here. We're just gonna go to the foul pole now. Just think foul pole here, let it rip. Yeah, yep. You're getting really precise about the hula hoop, which is probably my fault for telling you you gotta be in it. You gotta be around it, right? All that did was let you get through it now because you started to guide it a little bit. Last 2 here, same feel. Be aggressive to miss over it. Yeah, so sick. So we've started off with offset rotation, have learned about our loading mechanism, have learned about space. We did Hookum, controlled our space through strut.
Wait 1 second, before you go on.
Go ahead.
What's the difference between like the first 4 or 5, and then you told me the hula hoop, like what changed in that sequence? Like, and then I started kind of like missing balls, I guess you'd say.
I'm gonna go ahead and Uno card you and reverse it.
Right.
What was it? What changed for you?
I mean, I just felt like I was like really going to get balls.
Yes.
And like, I mean, you said try to catch it more out in front, and then I feel like I did that with my body. tried to like come get it out here, and like never actually was like back behind anything. So like I was like forcing my body into just go swing again instead of like.
Now, we find out over time, like, hey, this works, hey, this doesn't work, that's fine. But there's a little bit of an element here, like, especially when you go in season and we start doing the scouting reports, if I'm like, hey, JY, your target here is a fucking hula hoop slightly above the shortstop's head here. And you're like, I know exactly what I have to do to like control this ball flight. But I also know now it's not about being perfect to the hula hoop, it's about being aggressive to the hula hoop, which means I'm going to miss this way and I'm going to miss this way, but I'm not going to under-rotate myself trying to just like pepper the target. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Let's put your favorite bat back in your hand. This was the one that had a lot of good results yesterday. So, Kershaw. What did we think? Because Kershaw, you fucking dominated yesterday.
Yeah, I liked it.
What do you really like about the Kershaw? Another drill we did with Jacob was the Kershaw drill, but we paired that with a fungo. So let's talk first why the fungo. Fungo is kind of like the long bat's little brother, right? It's still long, 36, 37 inches, but it's significantly underloaded when you're talking about a 37-inch long bat with a 37-ounce long bat. So it was to be able to take a lot of that weight away. Now, what I kind of thought was going to happen with Jacob was lighter implement, start to really try to push this thing, hands work straight down, kind of emphasizes the already bad attack angles that he already had going on. But when you pair that with the Kershaw, which is such a dynamic drill, it's partially load, it's partially stride, and it's a lot of downswing to contact elements that you have there. You have to be really good about the beginning parts of the load, right? So as the hitter starts with their leg up, the idea is that as that leg starts to head back down, they are holding this newfound hinge in space that they've created, but now we have to add a stride component to it. So again, it's a real test of a hitter's ability to find load, find space, find posture, and now maintain it through a new discipline of the stride phase.
I just felt like it was like very like easy, like to not feel like I'm crashing forward. So like when I went up and down, I was able to just turn and not have to think about going forward.
Yeah, and this is
not trying to create anything.
Yeah, this is the good one for you in my opinion, because it's the, how do I want to say this? When, in my opinion, the first move thought you've had is like, go forward move, because my load has been this way that I just want to get off of it and start going forward. But what you've realized now about being Kershaw is like, I satisfy my body's need to have a first move by going like this. So now I'm like, okay, I am in a good position. I can stay here I should be able to stay here all day long. Same way as like being able to hang out here. But now that I'm here, this reemphasizes the ability to stretch around you and have a forward move without moving forward, right? The idea here now is that, can I turn this longer object, and then all of a sudden when I think about going to get it, I'm out in front with enough length that I'm gonna orient my barrel, release it, and pull the ball anyway. So keep the left fielder in mind. Good miss. Okay, you just decide to stop f***ing around and release the barrel? Yeah. Yes, that's still a good miss in the part of the process you're trying to do here. Let's go one more, see what happens, and then I'm gonna come over there. God damn it, I thought I was gonna have to come over there. I would encourage you here to start missing around like 18 inches. Yeah. Give yourself some extreme thing here that if you swing and miss, you'd be like, oh, I swung and missed early, that's fine. Yeah, I'm okay with it. Don't be afraid to over-rotate it here. You're not gonna spin off, I trust you. Yes. That's the one I'm looking for. Last two here, Jay White. Good miss. Let that thing eat here. Yeah. What I would say, this is gonna be the most interesting one of the offseason, right? And I told you this, is like, intent was going to gain you bat speed anyway.
Yeah.
So think about how many times over the last year you've probably cut down on speed to think about just getting the ball in play or doing what you want to do with the ball flight. So it's like, are you really, is Jacob Young really 68 miles an hour at bat speed? Or is JY's brain sometimes get in the way of like how f***ing strong you really are?
Yeah.
And that's the beautiful part about looking at the athletic profile from the HP component and looking at it from the skill, where it's like, dude, you're strong and a pretty dynamic mover. Are there some hip-shoulder separation things? Sure. But the idea now is like, have you felt like you've had an inability to create stretch when you think about swinging it faster?
No.
No. So allowing yourself to have the intention of like, I'm just gonna yank this thing. And I wouldn't be surprised a couple times early in this first 6-week block if you go, it, Trav, you know, I'm just gonna swing the piss out of this thing and see what the happens. And then you're gonna turn around and you're like, why the is that my best movement? It's just your inability or your ability now to not get in your own way by thinking you have to guide something. Yeah. This is your like little lab to like miss everything you want to do here. Does that make sense? Now we're gonna go back to the one that didn't start out well yesterday, but certainly finished well. Pivot pick. After we do offset, after we do Kershaws and Hookums, like what's important to you here with this pivot pick? That's a better question to ask.
I mean, to be, it's clearing the pelvis.
100%. 100%.
Get that out of the way so the hands can go.
Yep. Pivot pick for him, for Jacob, is like a really, really cool dynamic move, right? Start slightly open, pivot around the rear leg, and then let it flow back and let it eat. For Jacob, this is the thing we're starting to see now is that he's starting to take elements of some of his favorite drills, one being this pivot pick, and starting to tie it to his game swing. I want you to go in the start of a pivot pick, exactly how I told you, with your chest and your pelvis facing the feeder. Now, feel this position, it's wide open, right? If I told you that I wanted you to then pivot over, and then as you started the swing, I wanted you to get right back to where the start of the pivot pick was. What I really want is you to go over and then turned it back like you feel like you're gonna recoil yourself right back to the beginning of a pivot pick. Okay. What that should do is allow your pelvis to start leading the way. And we are going to swing the out of it. Have your intent here, kid. You're gonna make the adjustment here on what it takes to not feel like you're gonna spin it back off and just rotate it. Yep, keep working through. Yeah, yeah. Don't forget where that bat is. When I've said move this bat fast, do you think in your head you're trying to yank on the handle to get it going? Okay, I don't want you to think about yanking the bat to make the bat go fast. I think I want you to turn your belly button and let it just come with you and then let it provide speed to let it go. That's back to back, beautiful. Very well done. JY. That was the God. We're gonna keep doing it, but I want you to like have that feeling now where I'm gonna take the governor off of this and say you don't have to try to feel like you step back to the pivot pick now. Make this pivot pick about as authentic as you did yesterday, where it's like, I'm just gonna tell you to do pivot pick. I wanna see what you go through and do it now, but you now have this feeling of, man, if I can get my pelvis out of the way, and the only way to really do it is rotate it, space, turn it, I have enough room for my torso and my bat to do whatever the I want. Oh! Those last two swings, JY, were very good. You got here perfectly, and then you just wanted to keep your chest over the plate for too long that the hand started to move past it. Finish it. Let that chest take the arms where they need to go. You're like 98% of the way there. Don't shut it down early. Yes, yes. Yes. So now between the last three swings you did where I said let the chest go, do you then all of a sudden feel the difference between like the under rotation or the stop rotating of the torso? Yeah. So here's what happens, right? Is like if my pelvis and my torso don't rotate and turn and get out of the way, right? All of a sudden I get stuck here and the barrel gets thrown around me, right? So now you have this head, oh, my hands will just finish this way. But the head is turning around you. And then all of a sudden it pulls you off of it and you go this way anyway. Versus like, because we're humans and we're dumb, we think, oh, if I turn this, that's just gonna keep going. No, it's like it turns and all of a sudden I throw my head and it stays on that direction line. And all of a sudden you're like, holy f***, in order to not spin off, I have to rotate. Yeah. In order to actually spin off, I have to stop turning and just throw my hands. It's like the absolute reverse thing that you could think. All right, so we're gonna go speed trainers now. We're gonna start green, then red, then blue. So we'll go 3 swings each, but we're gonna go walk through here. Let me show you a walkthrough. So starting back here, you're gonna do exactly what it says. You're gonna walk through. But the key to this is it's left, right, turn, go. So just turn it into a pivot pick, right? Okay. Left, turn, pivot, let it fly. Okay. We're gonna go with the speed trainers here because I wanna give you some different weighted implements, both from like barrel load to handle to underload. So to kind of go over what the speed trainers are, 3 different bats. You have a barrel load, a handle load, and an underload. So the barrel and the handle weigh the same. They're gonna be 20% overloaded from your traditional game bat, and then you're gonna have the underload, which is 20% underloaded from your traditional game bat. This move now is about, can I have the same feel of load, but I have to control it, otherwise I try to step it forward. So this move is about getting the front foot back to the ground, bracing myself by pushing into the ground. It's gonna push back. I no longer need to keep pushing into it. Catch the energy in the flow and just let it flow out the bat here. Your idea now is that as I take a step, so think about me trying to go for a dunk. I don't want to then hold my foot in the ground and try to go up to dunk. It's like I'm going to accept it, get up, and then go. You now are doing the same thing. You're getting here, step, energy, boom, let it flow out the bat. Okay. 3 to 4 green, 3 to 4 red, 3 to 4 blue. Yes, yes. 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 Give me that red. I was just gonna say it to you. If you can feel like you can put the brakes on with the front foot getting down and let it all eat, that's the fucking move. Oh, kid, play with it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. All right, let's go blue bat here. That actually went a hell of a lot better than I thought it might have went. It's like absolutely no disrespect to you at all, but it's like, that's a lot of dynamic moving pieces, hoping that it all comes together in like one culminating drill. I love that drill. Yeah. I fucking love that. That's such an awesome buildup though, from like where you started to where we're at now. But we're gonna stick with the blue bat there. We did flow drill yesterday. It was like the reverse slap shot. I wanna do the flow drill here just to get you feeling like loose, to where can you go to loose to catch this energy and then allow it to move back as you want it to go. So now you have a little bit of the walkthrough feel where you're like, you know what, I just have to turn it. But now instead of the big move, it's like flowed, wham, let it fly. Flow, let it fly. Now, the hope when you do this is that you're creating some really good hip-shoulder separation across the midsection for most of these guys. But for JY, it was about understanding how he could have a forward move without actually going forward. So a lot of times when athletes start to slam forward, they don't have any space and any room to maneuver their barrel. So you pair that with an underload bat, which is super light bat, but again, requires a ton of control. If you get really handsy with it, this thing tends to start to work down as your hands pull across your body, and you start to miss all of your clip balls up in the air. Big breath, take a big breath. Done a lot of swings, gas is starting to catch up. Lock in for these 3. Yep, take your time getting back in. Catch that breath. Yep, good miss. I will absolutely take that. So we go through a lot of these drills because they're things that we identified in his biomech assessment. But when we started looking deeper into JY's profile, you start to notice some other things stick out besides the obvious, right? Bat speed being a little bit below league average, some attack angle issues that were all definitely present during the assessment and during the review of most of his data. But the one thing that stood out to me when doing the swing design and then the subsequent sessions that have followed past that, point of contact becomes a thing that we have to focus in on heavily. So I think when hitters can put their blast on and they're using hit tracks daily, you start to notice like, oh, my attack angles are low, I'm clipping a lot of balls, my bat speed is down, you know, why is that? I think using point of contact is an immediately good reference point for a lot of hitters, especially if they have access to a hit tracks unit. So what we noticed with JY was, well, he was just catching balls really deep. For anybody that knows anything, when you tend to catch balls really deep, you tend to catch them on the down part of your swing, thus eliciting a negative attack angle number. You're never getting the barrel back up. You're never allowing the barrel to move at its fastest. So you start to see these identifying markers, such as the negative attack angles or the inconsistency of having a really good ideal attack angle range. You start to see some of the EVs start to go down and not be flushed as often. but you almost got to look past some of the symptoms and try to find out, okay, where is this really going wrong? Sure, there was some loading issues. Sure, there were some posture issues. But a lot of those things can be overcome by the fact that you're on time, you're making good decisions, and you're usually catching the ball out in front of home plate. So for JY, when we noticed he's got a really deep point of contact, well, of course, that's just gonna like flatten out the attack angle, and at most times, it's gonna make him negative to the ball. So as we started to tweak with it, we started to notice that when he was getting it out in front, well, he was starting to have flusher contact. Flusher contact was having higher bat speeds, and higher bat speeds with the really good flush contact was leading to higher exit velocities, more distance. So we know a lot about that already, but we started to notice some things inside of that swing design that were like, okay, this is now things that we have to add to it. Now in the sessions that have followed with JY, it's like the big point of emphasis every single day is, can we swing this bat up? Can we swing this bat fast? Which means we have to have a lot of room with our posture space to be able to do those things. But then we're gonna pay very close attention to the point of contact and just making sure that he's living in a really good ideal window to have the best impact for him possible. We do have to take the nature of like what the data tells us, but we also have to have enough of this foresight that goes, what's the real f***ing problem?
Why are those numbers
right? It's the difference between an organization and anybody else sitting you down going, well, your issue is an attack angle. Of course your issue is an attack angle, but it's a symptom of what the larger problem is, right? I start coughing, I don't have a coughing problem, I'm probably sick. Point of contact is the issue for you, is if everything is too deep, you have no room to do what the you want to do anyway. Your path is a result of just catching everything too deep. You fix the depth problem, you probably fix the attack angle problem. It's like we could look at the end of your swing and people be like, you need to get to extension or you need to get this. Like, no, you need to load. Like, if you load it, you'll unload it, and I promise you, you're gonna fix 95% of the things there. It's not rocket science, it's just redundant now. We have to just keep drilling it the same way and then keep tweaking the game swing as we go. By the time you get to like December, January, we're almost on like, do your prep drills and then start going game swing exclusive to really tweak in the ends we want to tweak in and go from there.
Okay, cool.
Good?
Appreciate
Brother.
it. Thank you.